I'm Kirby Allison. It's that time of year again where many of the world's best and most talented bespoke suit makers begin their fall travel trunk show schedule. So in today's video, I'm going to review some of these firms, go through their dates, and talk a little bit about what makes each of these firms special and unique. Now, one of the things I love about London, of course, is that you have access to these incredible heritage firms that do their work at the absolute highest level. But for those of us that aren't able to travel to London regularly, they would otherwise be inaccessible to us if it weren't for their trunk shows. Now, the trunk shows are something that are as old as the Savile Row Bespoke Tailoring firms themselves. Really, since the early 1900s, these firms have been traveling to the United States, originally on steamers, literally with trunks, to visit their U.S. clientele. Now, luckily today, with the advent of modern air travel, they're able to come more frequently and visit more cities. Now, that's extended this offering into the United States in a way that previously wasn't able to be enjoyed for us Americans. So first off, let's start with the London Collective. Now, the London Collective is a consortium or a group of several bespoke makers based in London, bud shirt makers, Gaziano and Girling, E.B. Merowitz, and Edward Sexton that are traveling together. Now, the beauty of the London Collective is that they coordinate all of their dates and show in one venue, so you can easily see all four of those makers with the simplicity of just one visit. Bud, of course, is best known for kitting out London with white tie. Bespoke shirts are all cut on premises, and we just started a series with bud shirt makers following their bespoke process, from me having my measurements taken, from their bespoke shirt maker Darren drafting my pattern, all the way through us visiting their factory in Andover and then seeing the first fitting. Now, Gaziano and Girling, of course, is no stranger to anyone familiar with this channel. I just, on my last trip to London, received my first pair of bespoke shoes from Gaziano and Girling. Tony Gaziano is the one that did the last making, and of course, Dean Girling is the one that oversees their bespoke department. And I have to say, these shoes were absolutely fantastic. Tony and Dean both travel on their U.S. trunk shows. Now that Tony and Dean are back involved in the actual bespoke process, you really have a profound opportunity to have these iconic shoemakers make shoes for you. E.B. Merowitz is located in the Royal Arcade and is known for their bespoke eyeglasses. So if you're someone that really enjoys your spectacles or your sunglasses, they do absolutely incredible work using an entire variety of materials, ranging from horn all the way to ultra rare tortoiseshell. And then we have Edward Sexton. Of course, Edward was a cutter with Tommy Nutter during the era of Savile Row, where they really revolutionized the style of Savile Row cutting. Edward Sexton is cutting a more fashion-forward aesthetic, stronger shoulders, very much in the same light of what they were doing back in the 70s for the Beatles. They do great work, again, all 100% bespoke, made on Savile Row. The London Collective will be traveling here through the United States September 28th to October 18th, visiting San Francisco, Los Angeles, Austin, Chicago, Boston, Washington, D.C., New York, and Palm Beach. In addition, Bud and Gaziano and Girling will be visiting Philadelphia. Now, for a full list of all their dates and to be able to request appointments, visit their website, collective.london. Up next is London's bespoke tailoring firms, what I like to call the Big Four. This is Henry Poole, Huntsman, Dege Skinner, and Anderson & Sheppard. These are those heritage firms that have been based on London's Savile Row for a long time and are synonymous really with Savile Row and quality craftsmanship and tradition. These firms are the ones doing true bespoke, which means that their garments are 100% made on-site, on premises, at their Savile Row locations, and represent the absolute pinnacle of the craft. Now let's start with Henry Poole. Henry Poole, of course, was one of the first bespoke tailors to open up on Savile Row. It's family run today under the direction of Simon Cundy, who took over the firm from his father Angus, who is an absolute legend on Savile Row. We are in the middle of a series that we filmed with Henry Poole, our Suit to Shoot series, following the creation of a bespoke 5-piece shooting suit from literally the fabric being woven at Lovett Mill in Scotland through the bespoke creation process. to me visiting with Purdy and Sons to pick out a pair of bespoke shotguns, and then traveling to Scotland and actually using all these incredible items on a Scottish shooting estate as they were originally intended. If you haven't seen this series, I highly encourage you to take a look at it. It's really our best work ever to date, and we're very proud of it. Now, Henry Poole travels extensively to the United States. They'll be here October 2nd through the 13th, visiting Chicago, New York, Boston, Washington, D.C., and New Orleans. And then they will be back November 13th through the 23rd, visiting Los Angeles, Seattle, San Francisco, Atlanta, and then Nassau and the Bahamas. More information about their trunk show schedule can be found on their website, and if you're not following Henry Poole on Instagram, you should absolutely be doing so. Next up, we have Huntsman. Again, located on Savile Row. Now, Huntsman is quite unique because prior to the pandemic, they actually opened a New York-based cutting room where Ralph Fitzgerald, a bespoke cutter that was trained in London, actually does his work on premises. And this really was revolutionary because they were the first Savile Row firm to have a permanent presence here in the United States. Now, what's incredible about that is it's really extended their bespoke Savile Row experience into the United States in a very real way. Not only are you able to go visit their workshop in New York and have an experience just very similar to what you would otherwise experience in Savile Row, but it also allows them to travel more extensively. And the front of the house is run by Ed Turco, who is a cornerstone of the bespoke tailoring industry here in the United States. I have not met a more knowledgeable man of fabric than Ed Turco, and he's an absolutely pleasure to deal with. Their New York team really is exceptional. As I said, with Huntsman New York being based in New York City, they travel extensively, so I'd recommend visiting their website or reaching out directly for their first schedule. But over the next few months, October 3rd through 8th, they'll be visiting Houston, Austin, and Dallas. October 24th through 28th, they'll be visiting Washington, D.C. and Boston. And then November 1st through 4th, they'll be visiting San Francisco and Los Angeles. Now, everything that is measured by the New York cutting team is cut in New York, but then it is sent to London and is 100% made on Savile Row, on Huntsman's premises, just like any garment that Huntsman would make would be. So even though measured and cut in the United States, it is an absolutely authentic Savile Row bespoke garment. Next, we have Dege Skinner. Again, located on Savile Row. Dege Skinner is one of Savile Row's most historic heritage tailoring houses, offering a true bespoke product, 100% tailored on premises. It's still family run and operated. William Skinner is a consummate gentleman, and all of their work is steeped in the tradition of Savile Row. They'll be traveling here in the United States September 26th through August 12th. They'll be visiting San Francisco, Los Angeles, Austin, Dallas, Memphis, Atlanta, Boston, New York, Philadelphia, Wilmington, Middleborough, and Washington, D.C. So quite an extensive list there. Again, for more information, specific dates and times, reference their website or reach out to them directly. Up next, we have Anderson and Sheppard. Anderson and Sheppard, a firm whose name is synonymous with Savile Row Bespoke Tailoring. They, of course, are best known for their drape cut, which is where the canvas is cut on the bias and allows a very unstructured and natural drape that Anderson and Sheppard really is synonymous with. It's something for which they're iconically known. Now, they're traveling to the United States October 24th through November 4th, visiting San Francisco, Chicago, and New York. But they visit other cities on other dates, so take a look at their website for their full schedule. Up next, we have Kent and Haste. Again, two tailors that, if you've been watching this channel, are no strangers. We're in the middle of a series that we've been filming with them, following the creation of a double bespoke commission, all the way from the measurements being taken, to the patterns being drafted, to the first and second fittings, and then finally delivery of these suits in London. The series has been immensely popular. So if you haven't seen it, I encourage you to take a look at that. Now, John Kent and Terry Haste, I like to say, are the lowest common denominator of bespoke tailors in London. What I mean by that is amongst my friends that are well-dressed, the more you get to know them, the more you realize that they all use John and Terry. They're located off of Savile Row, have a very competitive price point, but are doing work at the absolute highest level. And this is abundantly clear in the videos that we've been filming with them that you all can see for yourself. In addition to that, John and Terry are characters. They're easy to get to know, they're funny to be around, and they're just great people. And for this, I really enjoyed the process of having something made by John and Terry. Now, they will be visiting New York City, October 21st through the 25th. More information can be found on their website, and of course, you can reach out to them directly for appointments. Up next, we have Redmayne, who is being run by Tom and Claire Mahone. Now, you may remember Tom from his days at English Cut. He was one of the first people on the internet, really tailors, to begin blogging about the bespoke experience, and he was someone from whom I learned a tremendous about the craft from. Now, he is at Redmayne, which is based in Cumbria, which is where he lives, and is actually where he trained. So for him, it really was full circle. Tom began his career at Anderson and Sheppard, so his cutting really follows in that tradition, but he is exceptionally talented, a great friend, and someone that is very easy to get along. Now, he'll be traveling here November 7th through the 17th, visiting Los Angeles, San Francisco, Atlanta, Boston, and New York. So San Francisco is apparently already fully booked. So if Tom is someone that you're interested in seeing, I would encourage you to reach out and schedule your appointment as soon as possible, because these trunk shows are limited in their availability and can fill up quickly. Next, we have Edward Sexton. Of course, Edward Sexton is traveling with the London Collective. As I said, Edward trained with Tommy Nutter in the 1970s, really in what was a very iconic period of bespoke tailoring, whenever it really kind of broke that mold of being very traditional and started doing more fashion-forward work for people like the Beatles. Today, they cut very much in that same tradition. It is still a proper 100% bespoke Savile Row made garment, but it is slightly more fashion-forward. Larger lapels, wider shoulders, all those kind of details that if you're someone looking to really experiment with that aesthetic can enjoy. So there's someone to reach out to. Of course, they can do traditional stuff as well, but they're best known, again, for the slightly more adventurous stuff, if you will. So they're visiting the United States, as I said, September 28th through October 18th, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Austin, Chicago, Boston, Washington, D.C., New York, and Palm Beach. Next is Steed Bespoke. Steed is another exceptional off Savile Row bespoke tailoring firm. Steed was actually started in 1995 by Edward DeBose, who had previously trained with both Edward Sexton and Anderson and Sheppard. So that is a pretty wide range of experience there. Their house style derives primarily from Anderson and Sheppard, but more so from Frederick Schulte, who was actually the bespoke tailor at Anderson's that invented that drape cut. As Steed uses a single piece 4-part, high armholes and soft natural shoulders that are slightly extended or wide. They don't put any cuts into the canvas to build the chest, and so it's all cut on the bias for that soft drape cut that, again, people appreciate so much about softer tailoring. The firm is currently run by Edwin's son, Matthew, but both Edwin, Matthew, and Matthew's brother, Chris, travel for their trunk shows. They'll be traveling here in the United States September 26th through October 15th, visiting Houston, Dallas, San Francisco, Chicago, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, New York, and Boston. Steed does great work. I've got several friends that use them and can certainly very highly recommend them. So that's it for our London-based tailors. But in this video, and as a response to a request from several of those watching, we're going to spice things up a little bit with some non-UK-based tailors. First up is Eric Jensen with Sartoria Gallo. Now, Gallo is a Roman-based tailoring house. Eric is based in New York, and much in the same way that Huntsman does their cutting in New York and then sends the garments to London to be made, Eric Jensen is doing his cutting in New York and then sending his garments to Rome to be made. So it is a very authentic, 100% Italian-made garment, but offers you that level of service that you get by having a U.S. cutter based here in the United States. Eric is a good friend. The suit I'm actually wearing today, he made for me. It's an absolutely beautiful piece. As you can see, slightly softer tailoring than what you would find in London, but not quite as soft as what you would otherwise find in Naples. So Rome kind of, I guess, occupies this middle ground between Neapolitan tailoring and then really, I guess, Milanese tailoring, which is more structured. So they do great work, and Eric's a great guy, and so I'd highly recommend him. Now, Eric, as I said, is based in New York, so anytime you're in New York, he's very easy to visit, but he's also traveling December 1st through 6th, visiting Dallas, Houston, Los Angeles, and San Diego. So Eric is someone to take a look at. We actually have the entire series of videos following the creation of this garment on our channel, so if you want to learn more about Eric, take a look at those videos. Next, we have Leonard Logsdail. Now, he is a bespoke tailor based in New York City. He does the pattern drafting and cutting himself, but sends his garments off to London to be made. Leonard is British and was actually trained in London on Savile Row, but he's been living here in the United States for over 30 years and has quite the clientele. Leonard is a great guy, does a lot of shooting tailoring, so if you're looking for a bespoke kind of shooting suit, it's one of his specialties. He'll be visiting October 30th through November 5th, visiting Houston, San Antonio, Austin, and Dallas. He's got other cities that he visits. I'd recommend taking a look at his website for more information. And then, of course, Leonard also has a Instagram page as well where you can see a lot of his work. Up next is a new addition to this list. It's a Paolo Bespoke based in New York. Now, Paolo is part of this new class of tailors coming up in New York City. He trained at Paul Stewart, but then broke away, and for the last 5 years has been doing his own bespoke work. Paolo primarily travels between New York and Palm Beach, but has been adding a lot of cities here. So September 22nd through 23rd, he'll be in Washington, D.C. October 6th and 7th, he'll be in Dallas. October 8th and 9th, Houston. October 22nd through 24th in Palm Beach. October 25th in Coral Gables, October 11th through 12th in Beverly Hills, and then December 9th through 11th in Palm Beach. Very talented tailor, does absolutely exceptional work. Their garments are made in London and New York. They have a bespoke product that starts at $7,500, and then they've just added a new kind of American made-to-measure program that starts at $4,500. So someone that's new, someone that we don't have any direct experience with, but the work that I've seen certainly looks nice, and so someone to consider. Up next, we have Divij Bespoke. Divij, of course, is based in Costa Mesa in Los Angeles, and is someone that is a great friend and has done really a majority of all my work. So Divij is really interesting in that he has a product that's made in Asia, but he's based here in the United States, travels extensively, more than any other tailor that I know, and has a really high-end product that really kind of bridges that gap between made-to-measure and bespoke. It's certainly a much higher-end product than your standard made-to-measure offer, but it isn't what I would consider full bespoke, only because Divij isn't the one actually doing the pattern drafting itself, but proof is in the pudding. As I said, the majority of the garments that you see me wearing on this channel were made by Divij, and he has got an absolutely exceptional product. He was also my first shirt maker and does some incredible shirts. His Cooper collar shirts are amongst my most favorite casual pieces in my entire wardrobe. And just recently we filmed a video on this. He made some denim for me, And so I just received my first pair of denim. I love it. I've given him the green light to go ahead and make the rest of it. And so one of the things I like about Divij is he has a very broad repertoire of different things that he can make. He can do really formal things like the double-breasted Prince of Wales suit that he made for me, but he can do more casual stuff like slack jackets, shirt jackets or overshirts, vests, and even denim. So Divij is someone to take a look at. Of course, he's on Instagram. You can see a ton of the videos that we filmed with him here on this channel, and he travels extensively. So his website's probably the best place to find his full itinerary. But I can tell you that September 19th through 27th, he'll be in Chicago and Phoenix. October 17th through 23rd, he'll be visiting San Francisco, San Jose, Portland, and Seattle. November 9th through 15th, he'll be in Dallas and Houston. And December 5th through 13th, he'll be in New York and Washington, D.C. So that's it for our Bespoke Tailors Roundup. Now, one of the questions that we often get here is, who's the best tailor or who should I go see? And it's really an impossible question for me to answer. It really comes down to price point, whether or not you're able to see them regularly. So do they travel to the city in which you live, or are you able to travel to someplace they travel to easily? And then really just personality and house style. Do you get along with the tailor? I mean, so much of the bespoke process is the process itself. I do believe that it is something that is to be enjoyed and savored. So you really want to get along with your bespoke tailor. That relationship is something that makes that bespoke product even better. Then, of course, is the issue of house style. Do you like a drape cut, like what Anderson and Sheppard, Steed, or do you want something more structured, say like Henry Poole, or what Huntsman would offer? Do you want something English or Italian? Again, there's so many different considerations that go into play, and it's one of the reasons that I would encourage you to take a look at the videos that we have filmed on this channel. We have filmed with most of the tailors that we have mentioned in this list, and the videos give you an opportunity to really develop an intimate kind of first-hand knowledge of these tailors' personalities, how they cut, and their approach towards their craft. So take a look there. But all these people are people that we can recommend, otherwise they wouldn't be in this list. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you're watching this for the first time, make sure you visit kirbyallison.com. Of course, this is how we support all the content that we film on this channel. There you'll find the largest collection of luxury garment care and luxury shoe care accessories in the world, as well as other great clothing accessories like this new mock grenadine tie that I'm wearing right now. This is a new edition offered in baby blue, pink, and silver. This is woven, it's a jacquard woven to look like a grenadine. We had these made because these are three beautiful colors that you can't find as a proper grenadine. So take a look at those. And then of course, if you haven't joined our Patreon page, take a look at that. This is another great way to support the content, especially our travel content that we film here on this channel. 100% of those proceeds go to support our ability to travel, to visit these incredibly talented, independent craftspeople doing work at the highest level, and then bring that to you here on this YouTube channel. For a small donation each month, you're given access to exclusive benefits and the like, so more details on that on our Patreon page. Otherwise, I'm Kirby Allison, and I love to help the well-dressed acquire and care for their wardrobes while exploring the world of quality, craftsmanship, and tradition. Thanks for watching.